This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello and welcome to the Boundary Park alert system with me, Matt Dean, who currently pretending to have COVID to avoid going to Latics matches, which I obviously hate doing. But anyway, it was on telly yesterday, so that was fine. I was able to watch it. I'm joined by another guy who's pretending to have COVID, sexy Dave, infected Dave Bradley. How are you doing, Dave?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Have you been rough as well?
Yeah, it's all that kissing behind the behind the Rochdale Road stand, isn't it, Matt?
I know, we should stop doing it, Dave.
I know.
I've just got this thing about kissing Daves and kissing their ass. You and Big Dave Unsworth, you know what I mean? Can't get enough of it. So anyway, but there is somebody, we're going to get into all this. If you're listening and wondering what the hell we're going on about, don't worry, it'll all become clear. Adam Kershaw, hello Adam.
Hi guys, how are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us this week.
Very welcome.
You were on last season.
Yeah,
the guy
the East League game.
That's right. You stand with us on our row back at Rochdale Road End.
Yeah, have you not got COVID then?
Well, I've not been kissing anyone at games, so I've stayed well clear of it. So I'm all right.
He knows better, Dave. He's not like us. We're just like these wild spirits that just go around snogging at games.
Yeah, the 60s free love.
It's like the 60s, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just all kinds of stuff going on. It's mad. People don't realise. It's just a look at the draw, isn't it? It's just one of them things. But yeah, I've been dog rough, to be honest with you. My throat has been like razor blades and really sore throat, coughing up all kinds of shite. It's not been good, but I'm definitely on the mend now. There's the faintest little line left on the test, so yeah. So we had to cancel the phone after the Halifax game. So I think we should go back before we get stuck into Chesterfield yesterday. Let's go back to Tuesday. Adam, you're a voice of reason, a reasonable man. You give us your take on the performance against Halifax.
It's pretty poor, to be honest with you. I think myself, like most people, expected a result out of that. After the reaction against Aldershot, I thought we'd come out all guns blazing. I think from a reasonable, rational point of view, Halifax set up really, really well. Very difficult to break down, much in the same way we did this weekend. And I just think we really, really missed a central midfielder that could pull some strings in there, because we were really, really struggling to break them down, and it wasn't great watching.
Dave, what do you think? What did you make?
Well,
of it?
they came with playing five at the back, but I think, as Adams has said, that central midfielder with the killer ball, like a gardener, I think he should have come on a lot sooner. We huffed and puffed, didn't we? First half, I thought we were the better side. Their goal was a fantastic goal. A bit of dodgy defending by us, picking up the man in the middle. But then we just couldn't create a chance in the second half. And to concede from a set piece,
it's not like us.
It's not like us, is it? No. Again, it's criminal, isn't it? Conceding off set pieces, it's just not good enough, is it? And for all the huffing and puffing, we could have been there another half an hour, and I don't think we would have scored, if I'm honest with you. But to be fair, we should have had a penalty. Fondop clearly got an elbow in the face, and the referee was abysmal, wasn't he? He should have sent off that number 22. He called him over, called the captain over, and bottled it, didn't he, on the 70th minute? And we could have gone on to win the game if the referee had actually showed some true grit and backbone and did his job properly.
It's fine margins, isn't it, in football? It really is. And I think after the Aldershot game, it was this kind of, oh yeah, we've clicked into gear now when we're going to blow everybody away. That didn't happen. I thought Halifax played really well. I thought their number 22, like when he got the ball in the middle, he was the difference, wasn't he? He had that composure. He kept it. He wanted the ball, and he broke away, and he started to make things happen. We ran out of ideas. We were just umphing it long. After I thought the possession was better. I think, like, if you look back to like last season, I thought we kept the ball better. We passed it around a bit better, but against Halifax, but we just didn't create the chances. I thought they played well. I think on another day, I think a point was a fair result. I think they were delighted. They were buzzing to come away with a win, because I think overall we were probably just about the better team. But it's one of them things, isn't it? And then you have to just get on with it, roll your sleeves up, go to Chesterfield. Adam, for obvious reasons, me and Dave weren't there, but you were.
I was indeed, yeah.
How was it?
It was, the setup was exactly how I expected. Same thing we did last season. I know people probably won't like it, but we went there, sat back, open Twitterham on the break, which I think is the right way to play against Chesterfield. If you like, Unsworth for once was actually pretty spot on in his post match, where he said if you come here and play progressive football, it's just going to turn into a basketball game. And I agree. I think we'd have got absolutely popped if we'd have tried to play football there. I don't think it's the right way to go about it against Chesterfield, especially this early on in the season when we're not firing on all cylinders. We don't have the central midfield that's good enough to do that. So I think sitting back was the right way to go about it. I think the out ball being Kitchen, I thought he played really well. I think we really missed Devon Green, so would have given us an option on both sides, and probably a bit more cutting edge rather than nut all out on that side. But that's exactly how I thought we'd set up. We'd go there and try and soak it up and hit them on the counter, which I thought we were really lucky to get a result. But I actually re-watched the game last night because I couldn't get enough of it. And re-watching it, I was like, they didn't really trouble us much. I know we weren't great, but they actually didn't penetrate as much as they really should have with the possession that they had.
I know you've got to give the players and the management credit for, like you said, for the way that they set the team up. We were difficult, we were well organised, and the players carried out the manager's game plan. Now the thing is, this is where you get the, we'll come on to the old issue about Unsworth and people's feelings and all that, but managers and fans have different expectations from football matches. I responded to someone this morning on Twitter who was saying that they'd rather have Harry Kewell in, someone like Harry Kewell, when we finished about 18th and conceded loads of goals, but it was entertaining, but we were complete failures and absolutely hopeless. But, managers go out there to win games or to make life difficult for their opposition. They're not bothered. But in an ideal world, they want you to be playing like Man City. But, really, what they need is a result. You got a result yesterday was a point on the road at Chesterfield. If we'd have beat Halifax and we got a point on yesterday, it would have been a great week. You couldn't complain with that whatsoever. It's the midfield issue is definitely an issue. We've, like you mentioned, Devon Green. We totally his pace yesterday would have. He scored last season, didn't he, against them? He scored the winner, didn't he?
Yeah.
His pace is sorely missed. Lundstrom, obviously, we've yet to see him play a proper game for us yet. I'm sure he's going to make a massive difference. What was missing yesterday was that link up from defence to attack, and we don't have it yet. And I don't think that we've seen David Unsworth's best team yet. And I think that everyone losing their shit over him and this team, I can't. It's just driving me a little bit potty. The reaction after 4 games this season from some of our supporters. I mean, I don't know about playing Nuttall on the right of a front three. I don't know if that front three thing, it wasn't really a front three, was it? Because it was very, very defensive minded.
No,
but
yeah.
He played one of the best balls of the game through to Norwood. And I think if that game hadn't been on TV, Norwood takes the touch and puts it around the keeper and puts it in the goal. But cameras are there. He tries lobbing it, tries showboating a bit, puts it over the bar. Disappointing from Norwood. All he had to do was take a touch and then just slot it round the keeper. And it's a goal. But it was a brilliant ball from Nuttall to put him through, and that combination between Nuttall and Norwood's really good. There's definitely something there. Difficult game for Willoughby in his first game to play in that position. I'm not here to defend every single tactical decision or positional decision by Unsworth. Will he get some of it right? Yeah. Will he get some of it wrong? Yeah. But what was the abuse like towards the manager, or the feelings like towards the manager in the stand, Adam? Because you were there as well.
Yeah. So, look. First of all, I think that there was some. I don't think it's as bad as is being made out on Twitter. And although I don't agree with it, I'm totally of the opinion that every fan is absolutely. They pay the money, they can voice their opinion. However, we're at our best, undoubtedly, when we're all behind the team. There were moments in that game yesterday where it was so positive and so good in that stand. Yeah. And I'm sure everyone who was there had said the same thing. When we're together as a unit, we are the best fans in this league by a country mile. No one can touch us. No one comes close to us. But there's that small section that do bring in that negative outlook, and they're well within the rights to do it. But I just think it's so counterproductive. It really, really is. But it turned a little bit sour around kind of 70 minutes. That's when the main chants of it were. But it wasn't everyone. It was a very, very vocal section. But I wouldn't say it was the majority.
But if you listen to that minority section on Twitter, they try to make out that it is the majority. 80% of fans want him gone, and nonsense figures that they're throwing around. And I agree with you. Last year at Chesterfield, we've been to Chesterfield twice in the National League, and I don't think they've seen support like it both times. Absolutely fantastic. And I totally agree with you. When we're all behind the team like that, when we're just focusing on, I've only got last year's to go on because I wasn't there yesterday, but last year, even though we were under so much pressure, and it was, and Chesterfield played a lot better last season against us than they did yesterday. Our fans never stopped believing, never took their eye off the ball, focused 100% on backing the team, and we got through that game and got a victory. And I see that little pocket of people who are, for whatever reason, just absolutely desperate to get rid of David Unsworth as a problem. Quite frankly, I don't see how they help. I don't see how they are contributing towards this thing that we're trying to build. It's just like they need somebody to hate. They need somebody to turn their anger on and all this. And they seem desperately. They're just desperate to be proven right about him, until it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They just want to keep going and going and going until they're proven right. And I don't think there's enough yet. We've not seen enough yet to warrant this vitriol towards him. It's really, I think it's disgusting, to be honest. Go on, Dave.
I just think when you get these, well, what can you call them, dickheads on Twitter saying, right, sack him, bring Rooney back in. Why are we trying to pay up Rooney when we can we should just pay up Unsworth? It's like, but what do we do when we sack him and then we get a new manager in who just does the same because the squad isn't where it needs to be? Don't get me wrong, there's good players in there, but they don't have time to gel. And you say, well, all right, then what happens if the new manager comes in and loses 3 games, 4 games? Do we sack him? And there's just a stonewall silence. They've just got no reasoning or actual valid argument into this sacking culture, because they bemoaned Abdallah. They bemoaned him for sacking managers, knee-jerk reaction, get another set of players in, sacking. They just, I don't know what they want. And when we challenge him, or when I challenge him on Twitter, it's like, oh, you're just in bed with the club, or you're just putting your arm around David Unsworth, or you just love David Unsworth. No, I don't love the results. Don't get me wrong. We should be beating Halifax. Yesterday against Chesterfield, if someone said at the start of the game, you're going to go away with a point, you take the hand off, wouldn't you? You would have taken a point at Chesterfield yesterday. They've just won 3. They've scored, was it 10 goals in the first 3 games?
Yeah.
You take it every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Now, this constant bemoaning of the team and the performance by this select few who are just negative and draining and sapping. As a player, you're on the pitch listening to that, you're not going to perform well, are you? And it's poisonous and it's just awful. And there's no need for it. And as to Adam's point, if we all get behind the team like we used to of old, like the Fulham away, and when the chips are down, and Chesterfield last season, we have a fantastic support away from home, and now that we're getting 7,500 to 8,000 at home, we should be using this as a tool to get behind the players, to be that 12th man, to give them the encouragement when it's not going our way and the refereeing decisions aren't going right. You know what I mean? If we're there supporting and backing the team all the way through, the results will come, and it will turn round, and they've got to stick with him. Because like it or not, he's got 2 years left. He's not even done a full year of his contract yet. September is when he's done his first year of a 3-year contract. There's 2 years left. And why would the board fork out a load of money in the summer on the likes of Norwood, Lundstrom, Ward, Hobson, Raglan for them to sack him after 10 games? It just doesn't make any financial sense, does it?
One word I want to focus on today is about respect, and I think there's a lot of people not showing David Unsworth any respect, like as an individual. Like they're looking for things that he says. They say, "Oh, he doesn't do enough interviews," and then as soon as he says something, like they pick on it and throw it down his throat. Obviously, we'll talk about what he said about Chesterfield being the champions and all that, and we'll come on to that. But like, if you've got some respect for your football club and you've got some respect for what the Rothwell family have done and what people have done to turn this club around, what people have done to get rid of the previous owners, right? Because we started that as a fan base. We got rid of them, right? We made it uncomfortable. We got them to put it up for sale. We created a space then for Darren Royal and the Rothwells and all that to come in, right? We've been working together as a fan base, and we've got the best possible outcome we could have ever hoped for. Local family that are passionate, that are, a chairman who's as likely to be in the away end or on top of a cherry picker fixing a gutter, or like as he is doing unbelievable stuff. We got way beyond what we could have hoped for. And then people are like, "Oh yeah, I know, I love Frank. Yeah, we love what the club are doing. Yeah, and we back the team, but we hate this fucking manager, and we're gonna fucking get on his back." And that for me is disrespectful to the board. It's disrespectful for everything that they've done, all the money that they've put in. It's self-centered. It's selfish. And if you're one of these people, just give your fucking head a wobble and shut the fuck up. You're entitled to your opinion, but shut the fuck up, because you are not contributing to the future success of this football club. You don't have to like David Unsworth. You don't have to. I don't know why, because he's a perfectly nice bloke. He's doing his best. He's working really hard, right? But you are far more interested in being right and being seen as some kind of authority, when really you're not. You're just some fucking gobshite on Twitter, right? And I'm sick of them, mate. And I'm getting shit now yesterday, loads of shit yesterday. That's because I'm an easy target. Well, you can give me as much shit as you want, because I don't care, right? Especially if you've got your name and your face to your tweets, then, you deserve some kind of, well, that's okay. At least I know who you are that's giving me shit. If you're one of these nameless accounts, you're soft as shit. Come and say it to my face anytime. You know who I am. You know where to find me. Come and say it to my face. I'll be glad to talk to you. I'll go for a pint with you. We'll have a proper conversation, right? But I'm sick of this nonsense. I'm sick of these wankers on social media. Social media is social. It's what we do and what we say has an impact across that network, and you can use it to be for good, and it can be positive, or you can use it to just spread toxicity and negativity. And so many of our fans do that. And when they get called out, they turn on you because they feel, because they know deep down that they're part of the problem. They know deep down that they're being a prick. And it's if you're being so vitriolic towards other people, it's probably because you've got your own self-worth issues and you hate yourself. You know, go and get some fucking therapy. Football isn't therapy, right? It's not a place for you to go and vent your anger at other people so that you can feel better about yourself. That's not what football's for. Football is there for lots of different reasons, but that's not one of them, right? So a lot of these people in this fight need to go and get therapy, right? Deal with some of their poor childhood, you know, you were neglected as children. Or, you know, get over it, get therapy, move on with your life. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. I've got no sympathy for it, right? We all have our issues, right? But taking it out on other people is just sad and pathetic. And I'm sorry, this is always going to happen today after I've been sick and I've not been out of my room for like, I don't know, I'm out 6 days or something like that. So I let it get to me yesterday because I was bored out of my head and I interacted with some of the stuff when I normally wouldn't because I was bored. But like, yeah, I just,
okay?
you know, it's boring.
Do you need a breath? Do you need a breather?
I do.
Okay?
I'm going to have a lozenge.
Right, match stats from yesterday. Chesterfield 3 on target, Oldham 3 on target. Off target from Chesterfield was 3, Oldham 4. So looking at it, 8 corners to Chesterfield, 1 corner to Latics. But all in all, it was pretty much an even game, and I don't think, you know, it wasn't the best performance by Oldham, but I don't think it was ever expected to be.
It was a good performance. It was a good performance, Dave. If you they were asked to do a certain job and they did it, and the shape and the discipline and all was very good.
That's what I was just saying.
And they worked hard, and so like it was actually a good performance if you look at it that way. It wasn't the performance that some of our fans wanted to see. That doesn't make it a bad performance because they don't know what they're talking about. I still do not believe that these people that are at Sack Unsworth know more about football than David Unsworth does. Because they don't. They might think they do, and they like to think they do, and they like to talk a good game, but they don't.
And
that doesn't mean that he's the best manager we'll ever have. And I'm not kissing his ass, and I'm not like his number one fan or anything like that. I just want to give the bloke time to succeed.
I know. I'm not
that's all. That's all it is. Can I ask you a question, Adam?
Go on.
I'm not your enemy, Matt. I'm not your enemy.
I know you're not. No, I know.
You're right, Adam. Are you okay? Adam's just watching going, oh my God.
No, he's all right. He's a very level-headed guy. What did you make of Unsworth saying about Chesterfield probably being the best team in the league and probably, you know, who are probably going to win the title?
I don't disagree with him. However, I think a big reason why a lot of fans don't like David Unsworth because he says an awful lot of contradictory things. He'll say one thing and then a few weeks later he goes totally against it. It's almost like he's a politician. He's like he's saying things to appease people, and I don't know what he's actually honest David Unsworth anymore. Because he said at the fans forum that we shouldn't be worrying about Chesterfield, we shouldn't be worrying about anyone else. And then 4 games later, we're at the stage of Chesterfield are the best team in the league, they're going to win it, and we're just playing for second. So he doesn't help himself.
That's what managers say, though, and it's all mind games. It's the way of football now, isn't it? One week they'll say one thing, the next week they'll say another. You know, I just think he's obviously protecting his team. He's not going to throw him under the bus. Whereas last season there's some instances where he did with the younger lads like Harry Vaughan at Altrincham. And I think he's learning on the job a bit of it, you know. And if he starts putting smoke up Paul Cook's arse and they have a few runs of a bad result, Oldham are right back in there. You know what I mean? It's still early days, isn't it? After 10 games, you sort of know where you are. So he's got to keep the positivity for the squad. Matt said he hasn't had a full strength team. He's got to keep the guys who are playing in that team, probably the Sheltons and the Sheerans, who are probably not going to feature later on in the season. He's got to give them a bit of positivity, because if you start throwing them under the bus now, the confidence will be shot. You know what? A point at Chesterfield away isn't a bad result at all, is it? Considering where Chesterfield were the first 3 games compared to where we were. We had a very disappointing result against Halifax, and I think it's fair to say if we'd have had that last season at some points, we would have crumpled, wouldn't we? And we would have got a bad result, wouldn't we? Do you not think?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. It's really difficult to come to the defence of him sometimes and say, look, give him time, because I don't want to get rid of him, but equally I don't think he's the man 2-3 years time who's going to be the guy who's taking us to that next level, you know. But it's so hard to come to his defence at the minute, because the product isn't great, and I understand the point of, yeah, we don't have the team, he's missing players, he's got injuries, this, that and the other, but I can also see the other side of it, where he's been back to the hilt, and we really haven't pushed on. And I know it's so early in the season that you're always going to get those weird results right now, and the form table now after 6 games will not be the final table. There'll be movers and shakers in there, and hopefully we're one of them. But yeah, it's really I can see the point of people who are fuming about it. I don't think they're channeling it the right way, but I totally see their point.
What did you make of the commentary yesterday? They were so up Chesterfield's arses, weren't they? Adam Virgo and that guy. And then when Oldham scored that late equaliser, they were trying to set everything to make it be an offside, weren't they? Even like the only person who was being fair to Latics was Shez on the analysis, weren't he? Saying the keeper should have done better, and then everyone turned and went, "Oh yeah, he palmed it out. Yeah, it's a really poor mistake by the keeper." Do you know what I mean? But they were so far up Chesterfield's arses. It was quite sickening to watch on BT, weren't it? Or TNT, as it's well known. You know, what did you think of Fondop coming on? I thought he made a difference as well.
Yeah, I thought Fondop did well. He's definitely an impact player. He's a great option from the bench. I really like him. And I thought he did really well.
And Gardner.
Good shot, wasn't it, for the goal?
Yeah, no, it was.
It bounced just in front of the keeper, didn't it? It was quite a. It was a really well worked shot. Yeah.
I mean, we've got a team there that battled to the end and got a goal right at the end. Like, you know, they kept going. So, you know, the substitutes that Unsworth did bring on contributed to the goal. One of them was the guy who had the shot, and the other one got in the way of the goalkeeper sufficiently.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think that with the Gardner thing, they must be being very, very, very cautious with him, because I think otherwise he gets in the team, doesn't he? Because Shelton and Sheeran are far too similar. Do not do enough with the ball. Gardner, we're crying out for Gardner, aren't we, to be in the midfield generals. Surely, if he is getting there nearer and nearer, like he starts against Boreham Wood on Saturday, because we do desperately need someone of his quality in the middle of the park. But yeah, just like you said before, Dave, Sheeran and Shelton aren't going to be the central midfield pairing. And as long as they are, Unsworth's going to get behind them and, you know, pat them on the back and tell them they're doing a good job and all the rest of it, like he did, you know, the other day in midweek, his interview after Aldershot game. But the comments and stuff, like, you know, he said, I agree. I think he could be a bit more consistent in his messaging, and I think that he does. I don't think he likes talking to the media, and I think this is part of what he's going to have to learn. He's just going to have to learn to become really bland and generic, like loads of other football managers and players do. They just, in order to not say anything controversial or get tripped up, they just come out with the same absolute boring shite all the time. So he might just have to start doing that, and then he'll get obviously I'll get pelters for being boring and all the rest of it, but it's whatever. But he's right that when he said that Chesterfield are 18 months ahead of where we are. But I think you said it before, Adam, about us being well backed. We have been well backed, but that doesn't mean that we have a championship winning team straight away this season, does it? It doesn't mean football teams don't just because you have good players in a team doesn't mean that you put them all on the pitch, they all of a sudden become a good team. Teams take time to evolve. They take time to develop. Like you have to get to know each other in your squad. You have to play together a number of times and get used to each other. It doesn't just happen. If you've ever played football, you'll know that it takes time for a team to come together. So we have not seen the best of this team. I said it right at the beginning of the season. This team will get better as the season goes on. I'm absolutely sure of it. I'm sure that when it clicks, that we'll be up there because there's a long way to go yet. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with being wrong because at the end of the day, it's all hypothetical. We're just sort of like no one knows the future. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it does because the managers need time to develop football teams and build squads. They need the backing of their board, and the managers got that, and they need the backing of their fans. And like you said before, and when everything clicks, when everything's in place, and our fans are all 100% behind the team for that 90 minutes, it's fantastic. But there is that negativity that is just pervasive, unfortunately, still within the fan base. And I think if we could cut that out, it would really help over the next few games.
Are we going to touch on Frank getting abuse in the crowd? Do you think that was warranted?
Well, I think as a chairman, if you go into the away end, you're putting yourself in front of whatever. So you're always vulnerable in that position. I think that again, this comes down to this thing of respect. I think there was clearly pictures of a guy shouting at him. I think gesticulating and shouting about getting rid of Unsworth in what could be described as potentially as in an aggressive manner, and certainly not in a very sort of polite manner. I think that's disrespectful to Frank, but I think the whole attitude that certain people have had towards Unsworth is disrespectful to Frank and the board as well. To be honest with you, so there was behaviour yesterday. Let's talk about the pitch invasion. I think it was just embarrassing. Like 1-1 draw away at Chesterfield 4 games into the season, and you're invading the pitch. It makes us look tin pot. It makes us look like that's a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. Like absolutely,
it's called passion. It's called passion.
It's called passion. Yeah. You can have absolutely brilliant scenes in the away end when that goal goes in, and everyone's. I'm not saying that. Of course, everyone's buzzing when the goal goes in. Pitch invasion, fighting on the pitch. That's embarrassing. Pushing over the keeper. If nobody goes on the pitch, none of that happens. So stay off the pitch. Those within our fan base that are grown up and still encouraging it, they need to fucking grow up a bit. I bet none of them went on because they were actually. Oh, I don't want to get banned. It shouldn't be happening. It doesn't do us any favors as a fan base, and when we go to other clubs, kick-off times and all this kind of stuff. Again, I talk about it all the time, joint responsibility. People want to think that they can do whatever they want and it doesn't have consequences on other people. Well, part of living in a society means that what you do has consequences to other people. Otherwise, you have anarchy. And, people just need to fucking grow up and cop on a bit sometimes. Yes, Dave?
I thought Paul Cook was very gracious in his interview afterwards, in terms of talking about player safety. And he said, he was delighted. He actually said, it hurt me that Oldham scored, but I was sort of delighted for their fans because they behaved so well. And I thought, you know what? If I conceded a 97th minute equaliser, I thought he was really gracious about it, and he wasn't calling them idiots, and he came across really well. And could you imagine if Chesterfield had done that to Oldham? You know what I mean? The fans have been on Twitter having a massive mourn. And I've seen a lot of tweets by Chesterfield fans saying, look, the support for the Oldham fans was brilliant. You're a bit silly going on the pitch, but we can totally understand it because you're the best team we've played this season as well. But I thought I wanted to give a bit of bit of kudos to Paul Cook, because a lot of managers and a lot of people would have been very, very critical, and I think he could have been a lot more critical to the Oldham fans just running on the pitch and actually pushing one of his players over. You know what I mean? What did you think, Adam?
It's a tough one, because I'd never personally go on the pitch myself as a grown up, but it was so euphoric, that goal. It was absolute pandemonium. Like, I was with my little lad, and even he was going mad. Like, and he's not like the most animated kid ever, but it meant so much to everyone in that stand, because we'd just been so poor all games, sitting back. And with regards to the pitch invasion, I don't condone it, and it does make us look a little bit silly. However, how many times have the club shared clips of us running on after Peter Clark's goals at Chesterfield, Scunthorpe after Luamba's goal? There's a real culture, and it's not just from our club. It's on all these away days, Twitter and Instagram pages. There's a real culture of people trying to run on the pitch, and do you know what I mean? Spotting yourself in the video.
Yeah.
It's so counterproductive. It's really it's just childish, to be honest with you.
Yeah, of course it is, and it's perpetuated by other immature people on these groups. You're dead right. Like, there is that's why they do it.
It's been perpetuated by the club in the past, Matt. So
but that's fair.
The club can't get on their high horse and release statements saying it's out of order.
Well, that's fair. That's a fair enough comment, that, Adam. Yeah, like, it's just I don't. Someone yesterday was like trying to liken what happened against Sheffield Wednesday, the last game in the 1991 season, to yesterday. I was like, what? You expect me to take that comparison seriously? Like, the Chadian was so full, it was like fit for bursting anyway. Like, but like, last minute of anyway. Like, we don't even need to go there, right? But like, it has become this thing. Like, you're totally right. It's like about getting likes on social media and limbs and all this kind of stuff. And because it gets loads of likes from other fans. You look at it. It's just, there's plenty of room in the stand for us all to celebrate and go mad without spilling onto the pitch. And if we don't go on the pitch, the keeper doesn't get shoved over. Now, this keeper didn't get hurt, but that's not the point, because it kicked off a little bit, a couple of lads having handbags and stuff. But if something serious happens, and it could, anything could happen, something really serious could happen, then it has massive implications for everybody else and potentially the game as a whole. I remember my arms still haven't recovered from clinging onto the perimeter fence in the Chadian when I was a kid. I couldn't see a thing. Like, I don't want to go back to we won't have fences, but like stricter controls and stuff. Basically, what's happening in football is football fans have been given more. They should be given respect to behave, to behave in a reasonable way. Like, you're grown-ups, behave yourself. There's kids here, be mindful of that. There's older people here, be mindful of that. It's not all about young people in their teens and 20s who want to get absolutely razzed off their tits on booze and coke or whatever else to behave however they want. That's not, football's an inclusive environment for everybody. And I've been on many an away day and enjoyed many a pint and been in stadiums in conditions where, but I've never been on the pitch, and I've never done anything that is like, detrimental to the club or its reputation. So I don't think there's an excuse for it. I think it's these people have already got it in their heads that they're going to do stuff like this. And like you say, Adam, they want to do it for those kind of reasons. I'm going to sneeze.
Yeah, just on that, I think there's really two types of away days, and like you've just alluded to there, that I've done both, where you go and you set off early and you get on the beers nice and early. But nowadays, I drive to every away game. I don't really drink because I've got to drive home, and I'd much rather have that experience of, if I'm going to drive 4 hours to Southend, I want to remember a terrible performance and have a chat with Southend fans on the way back to the car. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have that than not remember anything, come out of the ground shouting and bawling and throwing things at the other fans. It's just pathetic. It really is. And I just urge anyone who goes out and gets absolutely keyed off the red and on cans from 8 a.m, just try the other way. Honestly, just try going to a game and remembering it. And you'll change your view on it because it's so much better.
Yeah, but I mean, again, people are only going to do what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, people have to be accountable, don't they, for what they do? If you want to do that, then do it. No one's telling you how to live your life. But, if you go on the pitch and you get banned, then they'll just have to put up with it, won't you? Because that's going to be the consequences. If you go and you push the keeper over and you get banned for life, then it's tough shit, isn't it? Yeah, you should behave yourself. It's just it's actions and consequences, isn't it? And I don't think. I think there's just this collective responsibility thing that I keep talking about. I mean, just it's fine margins, it's fine little things that make us either great or keep us mediocre. And I think how we conduct ourselves as a fan base when we're at our best, like you said, Adam, I think we're unparalleled at this level. We really do. But I think we've still got a bit of work to do to sort of just adapt our behaviour so that we are just behind the team for 90 minutes and, leaving the ground. You come to people like Wrexham coming to Boundary Park, smashing up seats and stuff like that. You just think, what a load of dickheads, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, they're coming up here and I just look at them and think, what a load of dickheads. Sad bastards, and organising fights and stuff like that. Like, just especially grown men. I understand
it takes two to organise, or doesn't it? And we've been through that.
Of course it does. Yeah, it takes two to tango, doesn't it? But just grow up. Fucking hell, get a life.
Get the badge.
Again, each to their own, innit? You know what I mean? Everyone lives differently. I got accused of Gaz Amelia for judging people by saying it was an embarrassment. I'm not judging people. I'm condemning behaviour. I don't agree with the behaviour. I'm not judging the people that do it. Everyone's entitled to live their life the way they want to live it. But everything has a consequence, doesn't it, and a reaction to each other. And I've just found it all some of it a bit depressing. I think yesterday we should have been coming away from there after a last minute goal, pretty buoyed really. Title favourites as they are, 1-1. Norwood. He's going to be the difference this season, isn't he? He really is. You can just tell. And I think once we've got a midfield that actually knows how to pass the ball to him, I think, I tell you who I do like, Dickinson. He's a proper midfielder. He was the only one yesterday who wanted to get on the ball and wanted to drive forward with it. Shelton and Shearing don't want to do that ever. But Dickinson does. He likes getting on the ball and he likes to try and break forward, and he's really good. I think it's a good signing. So I don't think it's a million miles off what is going to be a very difficult team to beat and a team that's going to score goals. But we are desperately lacking those midfield players that are missing at the minute. And I think we'll probably play a 4-4-2 and we'll be all right. I think we'll start picking up points, picking up wins and climbing up the table. And I'd like to see that happen before or not. If we've got our full squad and we're not getting results, then as the weeks go on, then whatever, it's another debate. Well, there's no point going into the being hypothetical about things that haven't happened yet. But I think there's the basis here now with the signings that we've made to have a good team. We play 4 games.
I think Kitchen's got to be sort of like he was probably our best player yesterday, getting forward or whipping the balls in. Norwood should have done better with that header. He had 2 good chances, didn't he, before he scored? But Kitchen, when he bombs forward, he can do some real damage. So I want to see more of that. And that Freeman as well. To say he's had a pre-season, I thought he did well as well yesterday. He looks like a decent signing, and hopefully it doesn't, get to Christmas and he's had a really good 6 months and then he gets picked up by a football league club. So, there's a lot of positives. It's just getting that midfield right, and I think we just kept on saying it last season, and again with Lundstrom coming back into the squad and maybe Gardner getting a bit fitter because he's made the biscuits. Let's have it right. We could be onto a good formula for winning games.
Where Adam, where do you think, based on how we've started the season and all the rest of it, where do you think we'll finish?
It's far too early to call, but I still think playoffs are a minimum expectation. Just looking around this league, our stature in the game and the amount of money we've put in shouldn't bear any relevance on where we should finish. But like I said, on our day, with our fans behind us and the team and the squad we've got, that there's not many better teams in the league. It's just consistency, which we found a little bit towards the end of the second half of last season. So hopefully, like I say, if we build into this season, and we will get better and better, I've no doubt about it. So top 7 is minimum.
Yeah, I totally. Yeah, I think we're totally capable of that. I think I think if you look at the 4 performances so far, like Southend was just abysmal. We all know that. Aldershot, we did exactly what we should have done to a team as poor as Aldershot, which was fantastic, and scored some brilliant goals. Fine margins against Halifax, I thought. I didn't think we played badly. I didn't think we played really well either. I thought we played all right. I thought they were well organised. Bit of luck goes our way rather than their way. I think, we win the game or we get a point. Yesterday, a good professional performance to get a point at, a team that scored 10 goals and nearly win the first 4 games. Really, when you put it into perspective and you look at it like, if you look at it like that, and you don't be expecting us to go on out winning every game 5-0 and playing the best football you've ever seen, I don't think it's been that bad. The results haven't been great, but I don't think apart from that game against Southend, I don't think we've looked like a disaster of a football team. And when you read a lot of the comments and you read a lot of the things people are saying, it's like people seem to be making out that we're just the worst football team. That this is the worst team that we've had for years. We've had some absolutely shocking teams over the last few seasons. There's some absolutely shocking players. We've not gone backwards. We are going in the right direction. We are going forwards. Whether Unsworth is the man, time will tell. But I'd rather have a board that makes a decision on the manager and backs him than have a board that hires and fires like we've had in the past. And so that's why I'm backing the decision to keep Unsworth in place and give him time to do the job. I'm not busy kissing his ass. He's not my best mate. You know what I mean? I don't talk to him otherwise than what you hear on the podcast. He's the manager of my football club. And so I'm backing him. I'm behind him. I'm not stabbing him in the back at the first opportunity that I can get. I'm backing the board of my football club, and I'm backing the fans of my football club to be the best in the league. And I want our club to be the best in the league, and I want our manager to be the best in the league. I want everyone to succeed, and I'm backing them and I'm getting behind them, and that's all I'm asking for fans to do. And if they don't want to publicly back somebody, at least just don't be so obnoxious, disrespectful, and such a wanker about it. That's what.
He's such a wanker. Yeah.
So that's my take on it anyway. Just in case anybody wasn't clear. Look, feel free to contact me and Dave on the football phone and give me loads of shit on Wednesday. That you're more than welcome to do that. Let's have a debate on the issue. But let's try and. I mean, people might say that I'm not being very respectful, calling people names and calling you wankers and swearing a lot. I'm not singling anybody out. I'm not. I'll always be polite to people. I've had some messages today over the weekend where people are calling me a slut and all kinds of things. Just completely out. Yeah, it's just completely out of order. It's do it to my face. That's what I'll say to guys. I won't back down from anybody. Me. So I'll have a conversation with you. I'll have it out with you one way or another. I'm not bothered. But show some respect to each other, and let's be constructive in our conversations. But I just, like you said, I think you summed it up beautifully, Adam, earlier on when you said about us all being on the same page and how instrumental we can be towards the success of the club. And that's what frustrates me when we've been through what we've been through, and then in the first season, people are using the manager as a way of being divisive and starting to pull pull us apart within the fan base. It's just so counterproductive.
Mm.
Has anyone got anything else they want to talk about?
Well, we've got a Boreham Wood away. Does anyone have any thoughts on that? I think that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I think this is the thing as well. This whole kind of R.E.S.P.E.C.T league and all that. It's very disrespectful to the rest of the league. It's not an easy league, is it? There are teams like Boreham Wood, Solihull, even at Halifax the other day. They were no pushovers. There are good teams in this division. They're at Walking and Barnet off to Flyers, Gateshead, good side. Like, it's disrespectful to just assume that we're going to go out and just blow everybody away. It takes time to build a team that is consistently good and has good habits. Like Unsworth said about building these habits, these winning habits, and doing things the right way. It takes time to develop. We've got teams like Walking and Boreham Wood and teams like that who've been building over years. Chesterfield, that's why they're 18 months or whatever ahead of us, because they've been building a squad and a team and a mentality. We've come from where we were last season to here, and if we do it this season, like I said before, it'll be a fantastic achievement because it's not easy, and this is a very, very difficult league. Look how much of a struggle it was for Wrexham and Notts County, even with all the money that they had to get out of it. Really hard. So I think we need to give it some respect. We're not going to piss this league. We might win it. We might do well, if not this season or next season, but we won't piss it.
No, not at all. I think, yeah, like you say, it's a really, really tough league. And coming down, I think everyone was a little bit surprised just how good this league is. It's better than League Two. It really is, because every single team does things a little bit different. Like there's some teams like Gateshead, and they've got real philosophy. Dorking, like the way they play football, a real philosophy behind it. And then you've just got other teams that are so hard to break down. So it's a different challenge every week. So it's really, it must be difficult as a manager to try and come up with a different game plan, because there's not one way to win the league. Like, Wrexham had that one way, but they were just overpowered everyone. And that's the only way you can do it, really, if you're gonna, have that one way of playing. I think, like Unsworth says, you need a little bit more tactically adept and change things. But equally, I don't think he does change things as often as he possibly should when we come up against difficult sides. No,
yeah, you made some really good points there, Adam. I think, like, you mentioned it last week, didn't we, Dave? And we were talking about Phil Parkinson and, like, how long it takes to. This is a manager's first job, and like everybody has to get given a first job and a first chance and a break. Do we support that? Do we support that person in that position and give them time to learn? And he has to learn quickly. It is a results business. It is pressurized, But I would like us to be the kind of club where people can come and they do get a chance and they are shown a bit of respect and they are given a bit of time. I was thinking this whole thing really with the firing managers, it all started like in the early 2000s, didn't it, when Abramovich took over Chelsea. I think before then there was a lot more patience in football management as a rule than there is now, and because he would just fire managers like very, very quickly. But he had like limitless supplies of money to pay off contracts and bring in the next whoever else was available and throw money at a situation. But then, like everything in football, it just kind of goes. It becomes part of a culture, and then everybody's doing it, but it doesn't actually work, does it? So
look at Coventry. You know what I mean? I think Robin's got them relegated once, and look at them now. They're pushing for the playoffs in the Championship again. He's been there 8 years because they stuck by him. And don't get me wrong, Coventry had so many off the field problems with the ground and with ownership issues. But Robbins was always, he had to work with his own budget and do, pilfer from one, sell another, pay Peter to pay Paul, really. And it was a tough ask, but because he's got that stability, he's made them into like a Championship playoff team because he's had the time and he's been given the resources to do what he needs to do. Look at Pete Weil when he first came in for the Latics. He didn't get off to the best start. He was given the time. Fair, probably because nobody wanted to bloody do the job. Wellings again. He was another one who got a bit of time, and then unfortunately it didn't work out at League One. But look at the fiasco that he had to put up with. managers need time. They need two years, maybe 3, to set the stall out and get things moving. You know what I mean? And that's what they need in the game now. You can't just hire them and fire them. Look at us when we had Abdallah. Going back to what we had, we had Laurent Benide. You know what I mean? It could be a whole lot worse, guys. You know what
exactly. I mean? We managers bring players in, and they're always they're adding to the squad all the time, to bringing in players that they think complement that squad, and until you've got a way of playing where you're bringing in the right types of players to fit a form, that we've had to have this massive overhaul of players. And if you get rid of the manager now, the new manager comes in with a load of players that the previous manager wanted and that he might not want, and then you've got this situation. Then, he's not part of my plans, and it causes more mess, in my belief, than it does in trying to just keep the guy and let him do his job and see how he gets on for the rest of the season. I just don't see what the problem is with that, to be honest with you. I don't see what this hysteria about getting rid of him, because it's a hysteria among some of our fans.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Matt. I think it's a wider problem in football, though. Like you said, since the kind of Abramovich era, like that's just football the way it is now, and it's sad to see it filter down to this level. Do you know, where we are and below, where hiring and firing managers becomes the answer? Because what that does, it then gives the players the power where they think, well, okay, I don't have to work for this manager because my contract's longer than he'll be in the job, and I'll get a chance with a new guy. And if we look at all the teams in our league, those teams we're talking about being up there at the end of the season, look at the teams that were up there at the end of last season. They're all teams that have had managers in place for a considerable amount of time who've been allowed to build something.
Yeah,
and that's no coincidence. It's no coincidence whatsoever.
No, and I want our football club to just not do things the way that other clubs do, because that's the way that they do it. I want our club to do the right things the right way, because it's the right thing to do. And I think that if you've given a manager an opportunity, back him and give him every opportunity to do his job. If the board decide on Monday that they're going to sack David Unsworth, and they do, then I'll get behind the next manager, because it moves on. That's what happens in football. But I don't think they will, because I think that they are going to back him to do a job. So it's up to Unsworth to get the results, obviously. But the culture has changed within the game, and the fans flip from being, back in when this whole manager flip hiring and firing thing started, all the fans were like, oh, you can't do this, is ridiculous. And now we're the main, like people on Twitter saying Frank's in the away and he's heard what the fans think now, as if, well, we should react then. The board should react to what the fans think. No, what some of the fans think, not what all of the fans think, just the noisiest ones think. And I'm sorry, the fans don't necessarily know best. I'm not saying I know best either, by the way. I just think that, like you said, Adam, on the basis of it, the evidence suggests, like you said, Dave, on Mark Robbins, the evidence suggests that if you have patience in a manager and you give them time, you'll get better results in the long run than if you keep hiring and firing.
Look at Alex Ferguson. You know what I mean? He was tipped to be sacked, and they went, I'm sorry to talk about Alex Ferguson on Oldham Athletic podcast, but they give him time. He turned it round. And I'm not saying for 1 second we should even mirror David Unsworth and Alex Ferguson, because I'm not, before anyone starts jumping on me head on Twitter on Monday after 6:50 when this podcast finishes.
What you're saying, Dave, is that David Unsworth is the next Alex Ferguson, right?
No, I'm not saying that.
You said he's Alex Ferguson and Pep Guardiola rolled into one. That's what you just put it in a tweet, in a text.
I did. Yeah. with a touch of Mourinho and a sprinkle
of Brian Clough.
Yeah. That's
a soup song of Brian Clough.
European dreams coming with us, with David Unsworth. No, but we should just give people time and just chill out, for goodness sake. It's only a bloody game of football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we doing Latics mine then?
He's shaking his head. You don't have to if you don't want, Adam. You've done it already, so it's up to you.
I'll have a go if you've got it ready. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it though.
There we go.
Question 1. Who scored a hat-trick on the final day of the 1986-87 season?
Ian Marshall.
Incorrect. It was Mike Cesare. Which former Latics manager won a trophy with Bangor City?
Stephen Robinson.
Incorrect. Graham Sharp. Who was the first Latics win against in the 22-23 season?
Sutton United.
It was Dorking. Incorrect. Who was top scorer in the 2010-11 season?
Chris Porter.
Incorrect. Chris Taylor. Who was the top scorer in the 16-17 season?
Peter Clark.
Incorrect. Lee Irwin. Who was Latics manager in the 2009-2010 season?
Lee Johnson.
Incorrect. Dave Penny. Who did Latics draw 5-5 against in the 2021 season?
Peterborough.
Incorrect. Forest Green. Which international striker from Canada did Latics sign in July 2000?
Carlo Corazin.
Correct. Who was Latics' last win in the Football League against?
Leyton Orient.
Incorrect. It was Stevenage, 1-0. Who scored in the Latics FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United in 1994?
Earl Barrett.
Incorrect. It was Neil Poynton. Right then. So that's it then.
All good. Yeah, all good, wasn't it?
So out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you got 1.
Wee.
Yeah.
Who's got like Spitfires flying outside the house?
It's not
Oh,
me.
that'd be me.
Where do you live?
Just off the East Lancs, like, so we get all the little planes going to Salford Mini Airport.
Yeah. I feel like I've been extremely grumpy and moody today, so apologies for that, but I am tired and emotional. Thank you for listening to the Boundary Park Alert System, a QPod production hosted and produced weekly by Matt Dean, Andy Halliwell and Dave Bradley. QPod is Oldham's only dedicated podcast production company, and if you'd like to learn more about how podcasting can help take your brand to the next level, visit kupod.co.uk. A huge thank you goes to all those people who subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. We really appreciate you all. Please visit oafcpodcast.co.uk and click Be a Supporter or find the link in the show notes if you'd like to help us fund the show. It's only $2.99 per month to subscribe, but if you'd rather make a one-off donation, please visit buymeacoffee.com/OAFC podcast or click the link on our website. Don't miss the Latics football phone-in every Wednesday live from 8:30 p.m. Please visit youtube.com/@OAFC podcast and do hit subscribe while you are there. You can also follow and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok @OAFC podcast. Big thanks go to Eileen Finnegan for writing our excellent weekly blog, which we encourage you to read on our website every Saturday morning, and also to Paul Prendergast for providing us with all the Latics Mind questions. The title music for the show is by Manchester DJ and producer Starion, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records. If you'd like to be a guest or contribute to the show, we would love to hear from you. Until then, see you next time.